Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Can anybody really put together a coherent argument as to why Joe Biden deserves a second term in office? Actually, maybe we could reframe that a little bit. Can any Joe Biden voter put together a coherent argument as to why Joe Biden should be elected as president of the United States again without mentioning Donald Trump? Well, most of the time people simply cannot do it. Even when left-wing news organizations interview Biden supporters on the street, you see this same phenomenon.
He announced this week. Were you excited by that?
Not particularly. I'm more interested in a progressive candidate.
Despite having voted for Biden last time, 21-year-old Elena Symes couldn't point me to anything that would make her want to vote for him again, except... What do you like about Joe Biden?
That he's not Trump.
Joe Biden's honeymoon period lasted a very short amount of time, and now leftoids were hoping for a glorious bounce back, but it just isn't happening. The guy's still in the gutter. The majority of Americans want to dump him. Even Democrat shill radio host Charlemagne, he calls himself Charlemagne the God, but we'll simply refer to him as Charlemagne, has seemingly had enough of the resident currently occupying the White House. If any of you happen to be part of the Vote Blue No Matter Who squad, you might want to block your ears and close your eyes. Frankly, you might want to turn the computer off. Let me show you guys what he said. We've got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, friends, so take a look at the headline. Black radio host Charlemagne on Joe Biden 2024. America is in shambles. I don't give an F what he says.
Biden running again?
Joe Biden, man, Biden. Listen, when you start your video off saying whatever, you put out your statement and it says, you're in condition to run.
Get out of here, bro. Democrats are goofies, bro. Look how goofy y'all are. Y'all really judge Trump and people who like Trump when you got this running again?
What did he say?
Freedom.
Oh, Jesus.
Personal freedom is fundamental to who we are as Americans.
There's nothing more important, nothing more sacred.
That's been the work of my first term, to fight for our democracy.
Americans in shambles. I don't give a fuck what he said.
To protect our rights, to make sure that everyone in this country is treated equally and that everyone is given a fair shot.
I'm not listening to 3 minutes of this shit, yo. The world is in
But
shambles.
you know, around the country.
Aren't you embarrassed to be a Democrat?
America is in shambles. I'm not a Democrat.
So, yeah, boy. Yeah, boy. Yeah, boy.
I'm not a Republican either.
Yeah, boy.
I'm nothing.
Yeah, I'm not saying you got to be a Republican.
I'm just out here.
What about you, Chris? You like Biden? You voting for Biden again?
I think we could use a fresh new person on the
That's
seat.
why it's whack that the DNC won't let nobody They won't do no primaries next year, man. Fucking primary debate. Put Joe Biden up on that stage with Bobby Kennedy, who's challenging him, and Marianne Williamson, and whoever steps up to the plate, and let's have a discussion, yo.
Wow, such an enthusiastic endorsement. Charlemagne's funny though. He does the whole, I'm not a Democrat, I'm not a Republican either. I'm one of those mega brain 5,000 IQ middle people. You know, I'm in the middle, says the guy who probably has never voted for a Republican in his life. He's not a Democrat. All right, sure, bud. Whatever makes you feel better. Charlemagne's a lifelong Democrat, and when someone turned on the current Democrat president, the most popular Democrat president in American history's pitch for re-election to the White House, he said, quote, I don't give an F what he says. And I think mirrored the sentiment of how most people are feeling. You know, Joe's talking about MAGA extremism and freedom and, I don't know, some other complete partisan propaganda nonsense. He's talking about everything except for what actually matters to Americans. There's a complete disconnect between whatever the White House and the media is saying and what American voters are feeling. What's most concerning to most people isn't this threat of January 6th insurrection or some perceived attack on constitutional rights that don't actually exist, like, you know, the mutilation of children. No, what matters to most people is pretty damn simple. The price of eggs and the price of gas. You know, basic living necessities, not niche culture war nonsense and partisan media narratives. Look, maybe it's copium, but I think Joe Biden's in some real rough shape in terms of his potential for re-election. The most recent NBC News survey found that 70% of people questioned, albeit 1,000 adults rather than likely are registered voters, responded no that Joe Biden should not run, and only 26% responded yes that Joe should run. The data breakdown gets even worse.
53% of 2020 Biden voters say he shouldn't run. 64% of Democrats who voted for Sanders or Warren in the 2020 primaries think he shouldn't run. And 76% of voters under 35 think he shouldn't run. And what's the top concern for that? We asked voters. We didn't prompt them. We said, why don't you think he should run? Well, these were the responses. It almost is all about his age and his ability to do the job. Again, these are among Democratic primary voters.
53% of 2020 Biden voters believe that he shouldn't run. An actual majority of people who voted for him in the previous election don't want him. And supposedly the Democrats' secret weapon of young voters, 76% don't want him. That faction of the party that's supposedly galvanized, ready to put him back in the White House. Well, maybe after the whole student loan forgiveness scam, young voters are finally waking up. I think Democrats are going to struggle to generate real enthusiasm with their most important voting groups, their most loyal voting groups, young voters, black voters, and maybe even women voters. In fact, here's a great example from Shaney Rich on Instagram, albeit anecdotal, but still not exactly the archetype of a Trump supporter, not what you'd expect, but we simply continue to see more of it.
Trump or Biden?
This is crazy, contradicting, but I'm picking Trump.
You're picking Trump?
Yes, I don't like Trump as a person, but I like his policies and the way he just conducts business is authentic. Personally, I voted for Biden. He made it sound good. His campaign was awesome. So boom, he caught my eye, but now it's like, okay, I'm not really seeing what he said versus Trump. The wall, this, like everything just started happening. I just don't feel satisfied yet.
Whatever little bit of enthusiasm that might have been left on the left side during the last election cycle is simply gone. Really, the only factor that Biden has left to actually galvanize the base and generate any enthusiasm is Donald Trump. That's the irony. And that's what Democrats are banking on. I think they view Donald Trump as an easy target, and it's the reason why I think they're sticking with Joe Biden as their candidate. But you never know, their strategy might backfire and might backfire big. It's not what the voters want, it's what the Democrat establishment dictates. Same people going on and on about democracy. The GOP is going to have a democratic process. Trump is most likely going to end up victorious by the end of it. To be honest, it's probably not even going to be close. Republican voters are going to choose their leader. Democrats don't get that option. In fact, the DNC just announced that there won't even be debates. Now, of course, it's not necessarily a departure from the norm for incumbent presidents. I mean, there wasn't a debate, there wasn't a nomination process when Donald Trump was running for re-election, but there was also nobody challenging Donald Trump. Joe Biden has actual challengers. Again, a majority of Biden voters don't want him to run. Clearly, Democrats themselves, Democrat voters, want to choose their leader, the best man for the job, or possibly the best woman for the job. But they don't get that choice. The DNC gets to make that choice for them. No debates, obviously because they're protecting piss pants Biden. But Democrats in the next election cycle are going to be in the position of, I guess we have to vote for Joe Biden because he isn't Trump, whereas Republican voters are voting directly for Donald Trump and simultaneously against Joe Biden after his disastrous first term. Anyways, conclusion, I know you're shocked. Joe Biden sucks and everyone knows it. That's what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. Of course, you know that we would love to welcome you here in this community. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.